So yeah, I ordered everything from Google's latest Pixel event, so you don't have to. And in this video, I'm going to give you a quick breakdown of whether any of these new Pixel products are actually worth getting. TLDR, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Let me explain why. First up, the Pixel Buds Pro. Let's start with what I like about these, the price. At $199, these buds are priced well compared to the competition, and you can often find them discounted further during sales on Amazon. PS, if you haven't seen my video on the new AirPods Pro yet, then check out that here, because I give you a pretty comprehensive breakdown of the top noise cancelling buds and where they sit in the market. Secondly, I'm a big fan of the Tamagotchi style egg case that these buds come in. It definitely feels like a walk down memory lane, and the matte finish on the case is great as well, although it's a shame that the case doesn't come in black. Once you get these in your ears, it's really nice having a big button for volume controls or changing tracks, unlike other designs like the AirPods Pro, where I find the stem controls a bit annoying. And finally, the actual noise cancelling on these is excellent, and they connect really well to almost any device I tried them with. But there's some things that I really don't like about these new buds. Firstly, it took me ages to figure out how to put them back in the case due to their slightly strange shape. And when I finally got them in my ears, they simply kept falling out. Even using different tip sizes in the box, I was still having issues with these falling out whilst I was running. I think this is caused by the design of the buds having the weight at the top, which means a high center of gravity unlike other buds, so I think that's a pretty big design flaw, because with the weight at the top, you're always going to be fighting gravity to stop these sliding down like a pendulum. And finally, whilst I loved how the ear tips came in this cool little tube in the unboxing, there's only 3 tip sizes versus some competitive products now which have 4, and some even have custom fit ear tips. Okay, so that's the buds. Let's talk about the watch next. The things I like. Of all the smartwatch designs I've seen so far, this one undoubtedly looks the most like a traditional watch, and there's some decent choice of color options as well. At 36 grams, this is a light smartwatch, which I know a lot of people are going to love. It's also one of the thinnest I've seen as well. The battery seems pretty good and can last for a couple of days with light use. And finally, I was really impressed by the onboarding tutorial showing you all of the features and how to use them if you're new to the Wear OS ecosystem. Things I don't like, it's slow. Unfortunately, the main issue I have with this watch is its speed. Compared to other smartwatches, it just feels very laggy to use the screen when you open apps or you're swiping between things. And more importantly, as you can see here, it seems to take an absolute age to power on. In fact, it took so long, I actually timed this so that you guys can see, and I'm going to leave this running in the bottom corner of the screen so you can watch for yourselves. Another thing I didn't like about this watch is the strap connection design. It's a massive faff to try and get your finger to press a tiny release button which activates the strap release. And if you're someone like me who likes to change their strap regularly, then this just isn't going to work for you. But the biggest area for me, which is very much a personal thing, is the overall design of this watch. Whilst I like the direction they've taken with the design because it's a bit of a gap in the market, the reality is that it's a very delicate and soft design, and that's just not going to work for a lot of people. It definitely doesn't work for me, and I personally prefer the more rigid and masculine look of the Apple Watch Ultra, but that's a very personal thing. And that's the watch. So let's talk about the Pixel 7, which I think is the most exciting part of Google's latest lineup. The first thing to say is that whilst there are 2 separate smartphones, there's actually very little difference between them. So here's what's different. The Pixel 7 has a 6.3 inch 90Hz display versus the 6.7 inch 120Hz display on the Pixel Pro. The Pro also has 8 gigs more RAM, and the main difference is in the cameras. Whilst they both have a 10 megapixel camera on the front and a 12 megapixel ultra wide alongside the standard 50 megapixel camera on the back, the Pixel Pro has an additional 48 megapixel telephoto camera on the back, giving you a significantly better zoom. But that's really it. Even the chip is the same with the new Tensor G2 being in both models. And the watch has now finally powered on, which took just a little over 1 minute and 20 seconds. So yeah, not great. Back to the phones. I'm going to talk about both of these together because they're so similar. So let's start with the things I don't like. One size option. We've already talked about this, but it's a shame the Pixels only come in one size for both the standard and the Pro. Personally, I like the size of the Pixel, but the Pro model is just too big for me and becomes really bulky in my pocket. Speakers. On both the Pro and the 7, I found the speakers very tinny compared to other flagship phones like the iPhone Pro and the Samsung S22. Also, if you grip them in the wrong way in landscape mode when you're watching a video, the sound completely disappears. Whilst we now have Face Unlock on the Pixel, because the front-facing camera doesn't have a clever sensor alongside it, it's not very accurate, and I found it practically unusable in lower light conditions. And that's true for the under-screen fingerprint scanner as well, which just seems a bit slow to unlock. But that's kind of it, to be honest, and the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. One of my favourite things about the Pixels are the haptics. Everything from typing to tapping to swiping just feels so natural compared to other phones, and the clicking and sound feedback you get just feels really satisfying. In fact, the whole UX experience I think Google has just nailed with this phone. And the battery life has also been really good as well on both the Pixel and the Pro. And beyond that, the main story of the Pixel is its superior AI. The Tensor G2 chip packs some amazing machine learning capabilities, and in fact they're supposed to be 60% better than the previous Pixel, which is massive. And this is something you really notice. Whether you're using the voice recorder to take notes, using Google's cool screening feature, which is a Pixel exclusive, or using photo unblur to fix out of focus photos in your gallery, it all just seems supercharged with clever software from top to bottom. Google's AI really packs a punch when used with the cameras as well. For example, while zooming, the phone will automatically use data from the other cameras to recreate a sharper image, and the result is pretty good. And once you've taken a photo, features like Google Lens are right there at your fingertips to help you shop more easily. And then of course there's Google Assistant, which is just always there if you need something. Obviously this is something that's available on all Android phones, but with the Pixel you just feel like it's right there and ready to go, with regular prompts to use it to make your life easier. I could go on about the software on this phone, but the truth is I really can't fault it. So what are my thoughts overall on these new releases from Google? Whilst I like some aspects of the Pixel Buds Pro and the price undercuts the competition, frankly there's better buds out there that I'd recommend, and I'm not convinced by the design of these being top heavy. So these are just not for me. With the watch, if you're someone that's maybe upgrading from a Fitbit or a fitness band and you're more into tracking steps than runs, then this is probably going to be for you. I like how Google have tried to attract a new audience with the design as well, but I'm definitely not that audience and the design is just not for me. The real winner of this review though is the Pixel 7. In short, I love this phone and I'm really tempted to start making it my new daily Android phone instead of my Samsung Flip, but I do love the form factor of the Flip, so we'll just have to see. It's just the no-nonsense nature of this Pixel is brilliant, particularly for everyday users, because essentially they're just nailing the basics, which is perfect if you're not a power user. And then there's the price. At $599, this phone is incredibly well priced for everything you're getting. In contrast though, at $899 for the Pixel 7 Pro, I'm struggling to recommend this phone. I feel like if you're a Pro user, you're going to want significantly better hardware than this, and then basically all you're getting is a faster screen and a better camera versus the Pixel. So for me, the Pixel Pro is a puzzling option. Yeah, okay, it's cheap compared to other Pro flagship models, but if you're looking for a Pro version of something, you're probably not looking for cheap. And at $300 more expensive than the 7, knowing that you're only getting a little bit more, I'm just not sure you're really getting the value for that. In short, the new Pixel 7 has really got me thinking, and it might just have a new customer in me. Everything else on this list, I'm just going to be giving a miss this year. There's just better out there in my opinion. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one.